Okay, Byron, big games keep coming. I guess games at St Andrews are sort of a new games to look forward to from a player's point of view.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, was it a couple of years ago they were in the Prem, so it's another Premiership club as such that we're going to. And yeah, we're going there confident. You know, we didn't get the result we wanted last weekend, but obviously coming from the FA Cup, we scored a couple of goals. You know, against a team who are doing very well in League One. So it's just about, you know, getting on a bit of a run ourselves and hopefully riding that way for a little bit.
Yeah, and kind of like a measure, I suppose, in many ways of how far Yeovil have come when you're competing on a level playing field with teams like Birmingham.
No, definitely. And I think after the Leyton Orient game, going back to that, obviously they're doing very well in their league. I know they had a few injuries and whatever, but you know, so did we. We had a few players who came in who hadn't played for a long time, and to win comfortably, you know, 4 against them, it shows how far as a team and a club we have come. Maybe when you're playing in the Championship and you're not getting the results you want, you don't realise how far you are progressing. But it just shows as a club and a team, you know, we are progressing. And like you say, going to teams like Birmingham and other teams up there, you know, Derby coming up in the next couple of weeks, you know, we look forward to it. There's no pressure on us, you know. No one expects us to win. So when we've gone, you know, we've beaten Forest here and we've gone away at Watford and we've got the results, it might be surprising to, you know, people outside of our bubble, but you know, the boys are very confident, you know, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and how do you go about, you talk about the FA Cup game, transforming that form from the Cup into the League? Obviously it's that you referred to it before, playing against a League One team, but you want that sort of form to carry on and be consistent in the Championship. How do you go about doing stuff like that?
It's just like we have been doing. I think on Saturday, you know, we looked at all the stats and that. It's the most passes we've had. The pass completion was up there, 75%. We know we outpassed Burnley, who are very well, a good team. You know, they're up there, they're doing fantastic, but I'm going to say two mistakes have cost us 2 goals. And we, you know, it's easy to say you take them out of the game, and we nullified 2 of the best strikers in this league. We still had our chances, you know. Grantley's headers hit the crossbar, so it's another thing where we're losing the game by the odd goal. We're not a million miles away, and it's getting a bit frustrating now. I keep saying that. But that's why the confidence is there and why we'll keep plugging away.
Yeah, I usually ask players what their memories are of playing against a certain team. I guess it's an obvious question to ask you given the previous encounters against Birmingham.
Obviously, yeah, it was Luke's goal, his first goal for Yeovil as a professional, so he's knocked it in the top corner. So it's a great game to come up. But I know you're on about the chip. Yeah, it's one of them, and it's the heat of the moment. It happened. Would I do it again? Maybe not. If it were an FA Cup final or for the Champions League or for us to go in the Premier League, would I do it again? Yeah. So, you know, it's not that I haven't apologised to Birmingham. It's one of them. No one can know what they're going to do until they're put in that situation. If I tried it in training the day afterwards, I tried 10 times, I didn't get nowhere near the goal. So, you know, they went on to win the game. So fair play.
Yeah. Do you think Birmingham and their fans will remember? Or, you know, I guess they played a lot of games since then. It's not something that would necessarily stick in their mind. Are you expecting a bit of stick?
I'd remember it. Yeah, I expect some stick, but yeah, a saying my dad says I don't boo a bad player, so hopefully they boo me, and that means I'm a good player. So yeah, I look forward to it. It's another game. Yeah,
and Birmingham themselves, do you think they're kind of underachieving a little bit given their league position this season?
Maybe. I know they've got a lot of, the hands have been tied a wee bit off the field, or from what I hear. You know, I speak to Dan Byrne a bit, but from what Dan speaks very highly of Lee Clark, the manager. From what I'm hearing, they work very hard. Obviously, they've got a couple of players still from when in the Premiership, and they've got a lot of players who have got the experience. But like us, I think they've got a very small squad, and obviously you get a few injuries in that squad's. You know, whoever it is, you know, it's a bit of a challenge for them. But it's a very hard league now. So you're saying Birmingham are in the Premiership team, but there's massive team Leeds, Derby, Leicester. The teams go on and on. So I'm sure they'll be like us. It's an important game for them to get themselves more up the table and to bridge a gap between us as well. But no, from what I hear, they're working hard as well, so that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and I guess from a Yeovil point of view, it's just putting a solid performance and trying to turn the fans on their own team's back and get them against them, perhaps.
Definitely, yeah. And every time I do this interview, it's maybe boring, I say the same things. It's just we take every game as it comes. You know, we go out there to graft hard, to first and foremost to work hard, and then when that comes about, you know, the world's your oyster. You know, you need to go out there, you need to put your presence on the game, and we need to dictate the game. We can't let Birmingham or whoever it is dictate the game to us. You know, we've obviously done a bit of training this week on them. We know the strengths, we know the weaknesses, and if I'm right, I think they had a game midweek against Bristol. Obviously, they got a positive result, but like I say, with a small squad, players will always say they want to play games rather than training, which is true, but games obviously take a lot of energy out of you, so hopefully they had a rubbish journey back, rubbish resting time, and you know, they didn't get all their ice baths and whatever, and yeah, they're tired for our game.
Good luck, Byron, thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, that's great, thank you.
So give the scenario then, 0-0 on Saturday, 3rd minute, you had that same opportunity. You would.
I don't know. Maybe.
You would.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
There's no chance of giving it back to him at that stage, is there?
Well, that's the thing we'll have to look out for. I don't think the ball will be played back to us, so we'll need to make sure our boys know that there's a chance that they might not play back to us. Like I say, it's hard to say now. I know we're laughing and joking about it, but until you're in that situation, you don't know. So we'll see.
And sorry, one final bit. You mentioned back hard graft, and I noticed that with Burnley that they got probably the best strike partnership in the championship, but they also seem to work hell of a hard.
Yeah, we knew that before the game. To be fair, that's one of the positives of their team, that when they do lose the ball, they get into their shape, you know, really quickly. So they get the men behind the ball and they make it very hard for you to break down. So if the top teams are doing it, then it's one thing that we can definitely pick up on. So yeah, like you say, it's easy having the players who have the flair and you know whatever. But if teams can break on you and score, you know, if they score, you need to score 2. They score 2, you need to score 3. So it's definitely about being solid as a unit, nullifying their attack, and hopefully having your players to score the goals.
Because to be fair though, I think Yeovil matched them in the work rate.
No, yeah, we would, when we came in afterwards, you know, the gaffer's done his speech afterwards, and it's about taking your chances this game massively. And afterwards, when we were speaking, the boys were happy, obviously with the performance. Like I say, you've got attacking wise, they're up there, Burnley, and like you say, defensively they get everyone behind the ball, so it's hard to break down. But we had some great chances to score. It's just like I say, putting that ball in the back of the net.